it's taxpayers' dollars that are paying for this. And somebody corrected him, and I don't know how true it was, but I think it's true. He said, wait a minute. He says, taxpayers don't pay for the TSA. The flyers do. There's like a $6.50 fee on every ticket, $12.50 or $17 round trip. That money goes into the TSA fund. So your taxpayers per se aren't paying for it. It's the 100 million people that fly that pay for it. What the problem is that Congress diverted a bunch of that money, billions of dollars, into the general fund.
Yeah. Right,
So,
as always happens.
Yeah.
It's the post office argument of, it's self-sustaining. Not quite, first of all.
Well, the post office, like Amtrak, isn't it quasi-public? That's my understanding. It's sort of a quasi-public,
the actual TSA operations might be, I don't know, might be funded by ticket surcharges. Taxes. That is a tax, by the way. It's just a voluntary tax.
Right. It's a
sales
tax. It's a sales tax.
But don't tell me that all of the overseeing that the Department of Homeland Security does of the TSA is also paid for by that.
No.
All of the anything other than the actual operations.
Right.
I mean, really.
Right. There's a lot more expense than just the agent on the ground that's being paid for by ticket fees. So.
And I know we're spending a lot of time on this, but the money that it costs to have the TSA do what they do is not the problem. That is a problem, but that's not the problem with the whole situation. The whole problem is that we have Americans that have to undress.
Well, yeah, I think you need to get rid of all of that and let individual airports decide whether they want to have security or not. And see what'll happen,
right?
Because one of the people in the show I was listening to said, "Well, the terrorists are out there trying to figure out how they can slip stuff by all the time.
Are they?
They're absolutely 100% tuned in on how they can get stuff onto planes.
Only since September 11th.
I don't think that's true. I think they've pretty much given up on that. It's a low priority to blow up a plane anymore. I mean, it was one thing when you can hijack a plane and fly it into a World Trade Center. I don't think that's going to happen so much anymore because I think people are going to fight back, and there's agents on the flight, and there's pilots that have guns. Some are armed, some aren't. So it's a crapshoot. So I don't think that's the issue, and I don't think they're just going to blow up a plane for the sake of blowing up planes. I think they'd rather look at softer targets than that. So I don't know that TSA actually is beneficial for the rights that you give up.
There you go. And absolutely, it's not, right? Because, you give up some rights, which means no matter the benefit, it's not a good trade.
And listen to this. If you were an airline owner and a CEO, those planes aren't cheap. You're going to want to protect them. So you're going to want to put in certain protocol, right?
Well, and you're going to want
that they're not getting blown up every other day.
And you're going to want the public to think that your airline is safe. And so they give you money to fly on your airline.
Customer satisfaction.
Airlines have policies like the cockpit door is always locked and latched, cannot be opened unless a flight attendant blocks the aisleway, and one pilot comes out at a time, and a flight attendant goes in with the other with the co-pilot. Those sorts of things
checks
that
and
happen
balances
now, which mitigate the risk.
And the other thing I heard, we're belaboring this, but another thing I heard was that almost all of the TSA money that was spent on the agent should have been spent on updating their equipment, on scanning. They said they put a lot of their money on the checked bags. He says that's pretty safe. Your luggage that you check in, that's gone through. It's x-rayed. It's looked at. They can spend more time examining. They got dogs. They got bomb-sniffing stuff. They can smell for explosives, all that stuff for the check. It's the carry-on that is the lag in the lines. And he says that is, turn of the century, and I don't mean the last century, I mean the previous century technology in a sense. It's an X-ray, they throw stuff through, and it still relies on an individual looking at the X-ray and determining if something needs to be looked at more closely. And sometimes things look like bombs when they're not, and some things look safe when there actually could be explosives, and so on and so forth. That is the weak point, is actually the TSA agent working with the carry-on. It's not the checked-in luggage. That's fairly safe.
Sure.
So they said that they should spend more money on better technology and even having computer logarithms that look at items and go, well, you know what I mean. Is some kind of a calculating. Yeah. I don't know what I said either, but
it's computer science and whatever.
It's mumbo jumbo to me. Yeah. It doesn't really exist. But in other words, they when it gets scanned, there's all kinds of computer programs that go through there. Oh, this looks like a gun. This looks like a knife. This is a high probability that it's explosive. Blah blah blah. Instead of relying on necessarily a human being that can be distracted and look the other way for a second and something passes.
Paid money.
But that costs money. Or be influenced by that.
Yeah. I always carry a wad of hundreds with me just in case.
Well, I think everybody should carry a few $100,000 on them and a passport at all times. And a graphite knife. It's not steel.
Okay.
Can't detect that in a thing. So you could do like a...
I carry my Glock with me because it can't be detected in metal detectors.
That's absolutely a plastic gun, 100%.
100%. Even the bullets.
Even see it.
It's weird.
Can't even see it.
It's weird.
But I wonder what stone knives look like. Flint knives?
Yeah.
With like
look like where?
An X-ray.
What do you mean?
Does it shine bright like, metal does? And I don't know. I'd like to look at a reflection.
You would see it.
I think you would, yeah.
Of course you would.
I don't know. Let's try it. You try it next time you
fly. They saw
my
business card box, which kind of did look suspicious. It was in the corner. It was just like a rectangle. Like, there's a cube of something. I said, it's a clock.
A clock or a Glock?
It was a clock.
That's what they pulled down on you.
Clock, yeah. No, it's horrible. Okay, right. Speaking of overreaching government.
Where are you going with this?
Ted Kaczynski.
Oh, geez. I don't know.
You know who he is, right?
Yeah, I do. The Unabomber.
Yeah, the Unabomber. Apparently, he's insane.
He's a paranoid schizophrenic.
Okay, his brother recently said he's insane.
Yeah, his brother wrote a book about a year ago.
Yeah,
and it kind of bashed him a little bit. He didn't like it.
Insane. So he's trying to get an interview,
saying he's not insane.
Right. He hasn't wanted to talk to people for a while, right?
But a lot of people with paranoid schizophrenia say they are not insane.
Yeah, it's funny though because he only wants to do one interview. He sent handwritten letters to some journalists.
Yeah,
supposedly some that had contacted him before, probably early on. And
the one journalist that I read about said he had no interest in
doing it this time. Right. His criteria. I would do it.
It's a good PR.
His criteria for picking who he wants to give the interview to is that they have to write him back and affirm to him that he's not crazy.
Yeah, that's hard to do without actually talking.
It's like, well, let me interview you, and then I'll let you know.
And again, I'm not a professional mental health person, so I can't really say yay or nay on that. So
I'm thinking he's insane, is my guess.
The thing is that there are such good medications for people with paranoid schizophrenia.
I mean, look at you.
That my medications are fine. If you take your meds, you can lead fairly normal lives. They are among us out there. The problem is, and what I've read and know a few paranoid schizophrenics, they hate feeling normal. They love the feeling of being schizophrenic. To them, it's enlightening. It's probably much like an LSD or being high with mushrooms, where you have this sort of mind-altering view of reality that they find pleasing, so they don't like to take their meds.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. How can you be sure that we're not the ones that are crazy?
Oh, I don't even want to get into that. It's called third party observation.
Right, and everyone you talk to is normal, right?
Reality is
what I'm saying. You don't know. You perceive.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that because that's a ridiculous argument.
No, it's not.
It is. I mean, it's a philosophical, and it's right. What is reality? Oh, my reality is very different than yours. Really? Sure. Okay. I'm going to smack you across the face.
No, it's absolutely true.
And you will feel pain, and you will know that I hit you. Is that real or not? Did you imagine that I hit you? How do you know that I hit you? But I didn't hit you.
But I guarantee that at least for a while, we'll have different paradigms about why you hit me, right? So we will have different realities.
Well, I think everybody's reality is unique. But I think
kinda unique.
Oh God!
We're going to take a break.
Oh,
at oddshow.com.
Just when it gets good. Okay,
Facebook.com/@oddshow.
Can I do my trivia?
We're going to do a trivia question, and then we're going to take a break.
I agree.
And then this will be a surprise to everybody, but it's a spoiler. We will come back with This Day in History. Very rare.
That's unusual.
That we do that.
All right, so I'm not going to give you the date or the year. I'll give you the
1864.
No, that's not quite right.
Okay.
Which president dedicated the Statue of Liberty on October 28th? I'll go 18 blank blank. October 28th, 18 blank blank. I don't want to give you any more than that.
We'll be right back.
Lock it in. And rip the knob off. Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open carry handguns for self-defense. And the Strongs join a growing number of families who are standing up for their Second Amendment right and bringing gun ownership out of the closet. Order your copy of this unique kids book at myparentsopencarry.com.
It's a bumpy ride through the political jungle with Nate and Brian.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
What? The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-680-9903. That's 1-800-680-9903. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-680-9903. That's 1-800-680-9903.
Whenever I'm feeling a little down under, I can always count on Nate and Brian for their interesting perspective on topics important to freedom and civil rights by listening to the At Odds Show. Nate and Brian cover important topics with insight, intelligence, and of course humor. I can always expect a laugh or two. So if you want to be informed and have a great time, give these guys a listen.
At Odds.
Are you looking for some way cool t-shirts? Check out ChugDug.com. They have hundreds of crazy fun t-shirts like gun, patriotic, and you better believe zombie shirts. At ChugDug.com, you'll find quality shirts at a quality price. All shirts start at just $10 with free shipping over $50. Mention Radio 1 coupon code at checkout and grab a cool 10% off. That's ChugDug.com. T-shirts with attitude.
The At Odds Show with the greatest political